Does this sound pure to you? No, it sounds plastic. It sounds like a calculator, not an instrument. This is because digital synths are mathematically perfect, and your brain hates perfection. It reads it as fake. The real instruments, they drift, they break, they struggle. That imperfection is what makes them expensive. So I took the cheapest, a free synthesizer, and injected it with that imperfections. Listen one more time. The both are exactly the same free plugin, one of the simplest digital synth that you can ever get. The difference is this, the Imperfection Protocol. And let me show you why should you use it in your next sound. To make this work, I took one of the simplest synthesizer. This one is called KHS1 from Kilohertz. They actually discontinued this plugin, but I wanted to have something very simple, and this is quite simple. So initial sound, single oscillator, simple envelope, everything else is turned off. This is as digital and plastic as it gets. Consider 4 things when you are making your sound more analog or authentic. The first one is source instability. That means making the oscillators or the source of your sound less stable. The first thing, introduce second oscillator, 1 octave down, detune it slightly, increase the gain. It's a bit muddy, don't worry about it. We want that muddiness, that imperfection. But this is still too sterile. The thing I like to do, introducing a wobble, a pitch shift up and down, making the sound coming from like a vintage synthesizer. Many ways to do this one. One of the simplest way, using echo. From sync to time, 1-1, 100% wet. And take off the filter. So it should basically doesn't change the sound. What happens is you go to wobble. If I can make it 100%, you can hear a bit better, right? We don't want that much. And then I want a subtle noise, like a cassette noise. See that? That subtle pitch drift. If you enjoyed the video up to now, please consider like and subscribe. And I promise I will make more videos like this. Number 2, reactive modulation. When you're playing an instrument, your touch, your pick, so that the volume and the character of the sound changes every single hit. How can we generate this in a simple synthesizer like this? You are in 2026 at least. That means that you have the tools that you need inside your DAW. I'm going to start with envelope MIDI. You map the parameters that you want to modulate inside your synthesizers. For me, the most important parameters are filter decay, how fast filter moves back and forward, amplitude decay, how fast the volume of the sound decays, filter itself, the cutoff, how open the filter is, and filter envelope, how fast the filter moves. These 4 would already get you tons of different variation in your sound. You don't need to overcomplicate the things. To add that variation, imperfection, I will start with the LFO. That will help you to move things around, modulate the things. Then you click map and map each parameter on your synthesizer. Let's start with filter envelope. Can you feel the filter is opening? Look at here. Let's put it on the volume decay. And let's put it on the filter as well. Without. Wait. Can you hear the sound is breathing? But for me, we are just starting. I also want slower, longer movement on my cutoff so that I can emphasize this building up. Another filter, the previous filter was just sine wave up and down. The next filter is on rate of 1 bar. So building up, going down. And we can add jitter, so it's not perfect. Again, we like this type of movement. And I'm going to put a bit smooth. Look at that. Looks very analog, isn't it? And on the cutoff. Suddenly, everything sounds much more analog. We are just starting. I want to emphasize those highs when I pluck the string. What can you do? Bring an envelope MIDI. We are simulating that pluck. Bring an equalizer. First slight curve, just emphasize the lows and highs a bit. this is reactive modulation. This is a reflection of human playing instrument in digital domain. It's not every day a new plugin comes and impresses me, but today is not one of those days. Let me introduce you to Wingman. It's a new plugin from Mixing Key, and the idea is simple. A simple plugin that can help you build your chords, your melodies, your basses, be a wingman of yours in music production. Let's take a simple example.
I saw your eyes in the headlights.
The way it works, you record your audio, clicking this record.
I saw your eyes in the headlights. They've been running around my mind. I wanna know what it feels like when they see me for a good time.
And it immediately, extremely fast, creates a chord progression for me that I can try out in the vocal. And a bass on top, so we have the bass and the chords. And if you play together, you will hear.
I saw your eyes in the headlights. They've been running around my mind. I wanna know what it feels like when they see me for a good time.
This was really a perfect chord progression for this vocal. And if you solo the bass, here's the bass. And this is the chords. Not only that, it creates actually different variations. So if you don't like the first one, you can scroll through.
I saw your eyes in the headlights. They've been running around my mind. I wanna know what it feels like.
This is good too. So you can go through the different variations for your vocals and pick the one that you enjoy. But it also does stem separation. What does that mean? For example, let's try it on this one. Put on the Wingman. Let's record this part. And we have immediately the vocals, instrument, bass, and drums. This is very handy, especially if you want to come new ideas, change the chord progression. So, for example, here, now we have this. Also, you can create your chord progression based on different part of your stems too. For example, if you want to go after the bass, then you can have complete new chord progression made after the bass. And anytime if you're happy with anything, it's as easy as just pulling the MIDI and dropping down. Then you can actually change it the way you want. Pretty cool. It's a very cool plugin, so if you want to try it yourself, check the links on the below. 3. Texture creation. We still have very clean sound, so we need type of a texture in the sound, so it feels even more natural. I like to start easy, erosion on the high, and this will introduce this like noise-like sound. But I also want dynamic saturation on top of that. We had already our envelope MIDI. What you need to do, taking that, putting a saturation. I'm using simple analog clip and putting drive and drive wet into that envelope. So every hit creates a bit sudden saturation, texture in the sound. Here's an A-B so you can hear how much difference we made. Without any effects on this, if you take this loop and give it to your analog obsessed friend, I guarantee you many of them would think this is analog sound and tell you how they immediately understand it from the dynamics of the sound, the character, the saturation. This is something I like to do to my analog friends and watch their faces afterwards. But this is not that. We need to put this into a space now. The first, I want to give a bit stereo. I'm going to use Autopan. So this helps me with the dynamic positioning, but the main room filling comes from a reverb. Any reverb you like. To keep it simple, Ableton's medium dark plate with 25%. The most important thing is actually cutting up a bit too low so we don't muddy too much. And using it very subtly, so 21% wetness. This is the sound, so we are having a plate. I want the whole. So instant reflections from the plate and bigger reflection from the whole simulation. This time we go for the return channel so that I can control the sound more. Send it there. So let's solo the channel. See how big it is? And we are cleaning up all these highs, so we have this much cleaner sound. Together. It's very subtle in the background. And then I want my delays. Up to now this sound is very focused in the middle. I intentionally didn't use any unison because I want to show you a single oscillator is oftentimes enough to get this really rich sound. What we do, go to our second return channel. We have a ping pong delay. This is where the stereo is created. Boost slightly and sidechain the sound itself, so we are ducking each time we play now. So this helps with not muddying the track. Together. Amazing. We haven't done it. I like to put also very fast delay to just emphasize those stereos even more. Another synth channel. This time we have very fast 1/16 slap delay with no feedback. This high side sound. Together. Now, do you want cherry on top? A glue compression. This will make things even more glued together in the original sound. Slow attack fast release, so we can let those initial transients pass a bit through. Final piece in the puzzle is actually another filter that you have your envelope on the filter frequency, so you can open and close the sound the way you like. And slight touches with EQ. And look at this beautiful sound. Raw, dynamic, beautiful. And we got this from one of the simple synthesizer in the market for free. Also, you know what? This project is free. I'm gonna put on my Patreon and you can download it for free there. I'm a sound designer, so I make Eldo preset packs. If you want to try my sounds like this, or this, or maybe even this, check them out on mercurialtones.com. Maybe you find something. That imperfection is what makes them